There are so many reasons to learn Japanese, and I'm sure that for many of you, understanding anime is a big one. One of the biggest things that I've enjoyed about learning Japanese is the ability to play video games in Japanese. And here's my reasons why I think you should learn Japanese to play video games. Also, if you're a huge video game fan like I am, especially when it comes to retro games, I think that you should check out my video on how to learn Japanese through video games over here. Reason number one I wanted to talk about is actually the price of video games.
The game's over.
The price of retro games has gone up incredibly in the past few years, and if you're like me, you've been keeping tabs on prices of different things and just occasionally looking up different games that you might want to get, and especially if you're collecting in-box like I like to collect, things can get very expensive very fast. However, I live in Japan. Living in Japan, there's a lot of different retro gaming stores all over the place. And let me tell you, the prices on these things are so much better than their English counterparts. For instance, look at this. Pokemon Stadium 2 on the N64, complete, in box, and it runs. Everything's great. I got this for like 200 yen. Which, if I'm being honest with you, was a pretty big steal even for Japan standards. That's like $1 or something in United States money. United States money? Usually I don't see this game for that cheap, but I was able to just randomly find it one day at a book off. Usually I see it for like maybe 1,000 yen, 2,000 yen, somewhere around there. Even lower if it's just the cartridge, not the box. So if you don't care about box collecting, it gets even cheaper. I have built a small collection over the past like half a year or so as I've came to Japan. And yeah, they're all in Japanese. However, most of the time I'm collecting games and they're totally playable even when I don't fully understand the word. If there's a kanji I'm not sure about, they're totally playable and you can experience it in a whole new way. Which brings me on to my next point. Replaying these games in Japanese has really kind of unlocked that memory of being a kid and playing the game for the first time. For instance, Pokemon Blue. I only played a tiny bit of this game in Japanese. However, trying to navigate the game in Japanese and kind of like learning the new characters' names and like kind of figuring out like what different words mean and like where they're telling you to go, and you kind of know because you've played it many times, but it feels new because it's in another language. It kind of reminds me of playing the game for the very first time. There really is something special about playing the Wind Waker in Japanese, which I have been doing until recently. My GameCube HDMI adapter broke, so I need to get a new one. Maybe I'll pick up a certain one that I'll review. Stay subscribed for that. I mean, I thought it would be challenging, and it kind of is at times. There's certain ways that the characters will speak or certain terms that they use and kanji maybe that I can't quite figure out. Although most of the game is hiragana, like the difficult words and things. It's a lot of hiragana, katakana, simple words to use. Sometimes a character speaks in a way that's a little hard to understand, and I won't lie, that does snag me up a little bit. However, the best part about replaying games that you've already played as a kid in Japanese is it feels like you're playing it for the very first time. You're kind of confused on what to do. You don't quite remember. There's different, like the characters are the same, but they're different in a way, you know? They have different personalities and the way that they're speaking is different. I don't know. I couldn't recommend playing Zelda Wind Waker in Japanese more personally. Learning Japanese with it is really fun as well. This is kind of the main game that I talk about in my Learning Japanese with Video Games video, which again, you should check it out. By the way, I wanted to mention, I got Zelda Legend of the Four Swords for 6,900 yen. New. It even has the cable for the Game Boy to the GameCube in here. I'm not even gonna open it. I'm just gonna keep that. I think that's really a good find. I have this game on my DS. I don't really need to open it. Yeah, something interesting with that game as well is there is a special game inside that was only available in the Japanese edition. So there's that kind of uniqueness to look out for as well in Japan. A lot of the times it's just completely different character voices. Or for instance, in I think Super Mario 64, the US release of that, or the international release for that, he makes different sounds, or not enough sounds, or something. There's something different with the sounds of his voice, and they added different things when they sent it to the US, and then it came back that way in Japan. So there's a version in Japan that has all the updated information, but then there's the first Japanese version that doesn't have it, so you can kind of experience it in different ways. I highly suggest that you learn some Japanese to play retro games. Games that came from Japan that never got translated. Games that you want to experience like new again. Anything like that. It's so rewarding, and it has opened up just a whole new gaming environment for me that I really enjoy. So if you, like me, really enjoy retro gaming content and Japan, then please think about hitting the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this video, and have I convinced you to learn Japanese and play some video games yet? Are you currently studying? Have you tried to play any games in Japanese? If so, what games? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Stay tuned for more retro gaming content from Japan, and I'm out.